So is it too soon to do a post-mortem on the Mosconi Cup? The thing just ended an hour or so ago. I don't know if it's too soon or not. Next question would be, does anybody care what I had to say about it? No. Am I going to do it anyway? Yes. I'm going to try really hard to not be too negative on the players on Team USA. This might be a little tough because it was 11-6 was the final score. So I guarantee you there are some people out there right now, they're saying, yeah, they doubled their score from last year. And this is true. They could have tripled their score from last year and still lost. So, what happened? I think on paper, it might have been just a little bit of a wash, a toss-up, if you will. Wasn't the case. What I seemed to see more than anything else was a lot of the members of Team USA trying to overpower that tight-ass table with the 4-inch pockets. Basically trying to play their normal game, which seemed to work pretty well for Skyler. Didn't seem to work very well for anybody else. Except Tyler. Tyler's normal game is always play the table, don't overpower the table. But Billy jawed a lot of shots that he would never miss, like on this table here, with 4.5-inch pockets. Federer did the same thing. Just the way it goes. What I saw on Team Europe was they hardly ever did that. They played balls that were going to roll, and if they jawed, or if they hit a point on the way in, they were still going to go in. They very rarely tried to overpower the table or shot a shot that was going to bobble out. With one exception, which was Mickey, who was new to this whole thing. And he could have any number of excuses, and they're all probably valid. But I played Mickey several years ago in Derby City Banks. He went through me like he had to catch a bus. Everything was hard and firm and overpowered the table. That's his game. I think he tried to do that in Mosconi Cup. And it didn't work. I think Billy tried to do that in Mosconi Cup. And it didn't work. I think Federer tried to do that, and it didn't work until the very last day. And I don't know what was going on with Shane. For some reason, it just happened to work out because I worked during the day. I didn't watch a lot of Shane's matches. It might be a good thing that I didn't. I don't know how to fix anything. I'm not even sure I have really good recommendations for how to fix anything. I don't think that the way players are selected is correct. And you guys can tell me in the comments if I'm just completely wrong about what I think goes on. I think they get the top 3 players by points. They get automatic spots, unless your name is Josh, and then you get kicked out. But normally, top 3 players by points. And I haven't seen exactly what the points are. Is the points purely money? Who won the most money? To me, that absolutely does not seem like the right way to do it. Then you can end up with someone, Federer wins the world championship and gets whatever, $250,000 or whatever. He's a shoo-in. He could have taken the next 6 months off. He did not, but he could have. And he could have broken both arms and still been on the team. Kachi I think he got second in that same tournament. Could have taken the next 6 months off, and he might have taken the next 6 months off. I'm not really sure. But I would like to see some other way to get in the top 3 besides just how much money you won. And I'm not sure what that way might be. I just really don't. You have to keep score somehow. And pool has kind of often been a whoever has the most money wins. That's the way pool has kept score. There could be some very good players that just flat out couldn't afford to go to Saudi Arabia and play in a tournament. Couldn't afford to go to a lot of these overseas tournaments, so they missed out on those opportunities to get money. That's one of the things that I believe Justin Bergman said several years ago, was it's expensive to go to these tournaments. Even in the U.S., it's expensive. You got to go there, do your hotel, entry fee, all this and that. Not guaranteed to get anything if you get knocked out early enough. It's expensive to keep doing that. And now we're also talking about overseas. Now you got to fly someplace. I don't know. I don't know a better way to do it. I just don't. I think one time I did say, let's just make it a captain's pick. All 5 players on the team are chosen by the captain. But I don't think that's ever going to go, because they want, Matchroom, they want people going to their tournaments and all that. They're a business, and they want people going to all their tournaments. They don't want to leave who gets in the Mosconi Cup. It's just up to the whim of the captain. And I can completely understand that. They said, I don't know a better way to pick those top 3. If I did, nobody would care. They go, who's this guy? Dang on. So I was very impressed by Skylar, both as a captain and as a player during this tournament. I think a lot of people would have maybe not quite crumbled, but would have shown something. Well, man, he's trying to do 2 things at the same time, be a player and a captain, and it's messing with him. But Skylar did not show that. I thought he did a great job. I also thought that Tyler did a great job. I was expecting Tyler to do a great job, because he is steady. He is a very steady player. I was expecting him to keep up with that, and he did. Shane, I don't know what to say about Shane. I said I didn't watch hardly any of his shooting, and I don't feel like I missed a whole lot. Maybe it's been the same thing that's always been happening, that he just doesn't seem to be into it. I don't know. Billy? Well, Billy. And then Federer, I think most fans of Team USA, would say that Federer was probably the biggest surprise and the biggest disappointment of the tournament. Federer didn't show up until today, and he played really well against Mickey the first 4 games, and he still almost lost that match at 1-0. But those 4 games, that was the Federer that we all know and love and expected to see through the whole Mosconi Cup. If you get on a team of 5, and your top 2 players on paper anyway basically don't show up, or one of them only shows up until the final day, yeah, you're not going to win. And Team USA might be able to consider themselves a little bit lucky that they got to 6 points. Because without Federer and Shane, they could have replaced Federer and Shane with me and one of my cats. And it might not have made a single difference to the scoreline, except for Federer's match today against Mickey. Probably would have. My cat really can't play very well. And usually I can't either on 4-inch pockets. If those 2 had showed up and been the players that they're capable of being, there were some holes in Team Europe. There were some gaps in their play that I hadn't seen before. If Shane and Federer had been the Shane and Federer we all know and love, it might have been 11-6 the other way. But they didn't. They didn't show up. So here we sit, and now the discussions start again about, next year we got to do this and that, and maybe I'm going to be part of that discussion, at least internally down here, and maybe to the camera. What do we do about next year? Don't try to overpower the table. The table is either your enemy, as in the case of Team USA, or it's at best something you just have to deal with, like Team Europe. Team Europe knew they had to deal with the table on a more or less even keel, not try to bully it and overpower it. And it worked out very well for them. What else? I don't know. I mean, it kind of surprised me that Team Europe had such fantastic luck on, they made the one on the side, which everybody was pretty good at that, and getting a shot on the two, getting a shot on the two, getting a shot on the two. And Team USA almost never got a good shot at the two. I think Team USA should have studied, what is Europe doing? Are they breaking softer? I think they might have been breaking a little bit softer. They were also not at the corner of the break box. They were inside a little bit, closer to the center of the table. Still doing the cut break and all that. And, okay, what difference does that make? You know, you could draw it out or whatever, but it don't make no difference. But something made a difference. It's where Team Europe kept getting a shot at the two. Way, way, way more than Team USA. And if there was any discussion or studying of that by Team USA, by Skylar or any of the players on his team, we weren't told about it. All we saw was that they kept trying the same thing over and over and over and over. Break from the corner of the box, break from the corner of the box. Make the one, don't get a shot at the two. Make the one, have to play shape on the two. Make the one, have to do a jump shot at the two. Make the one, have to push out. Where Team Europe, a lot of times, make the one, make the two, make three, like, it just keep going. This happened a lot. There was a big difference in, well, and then the whole tournament. Not just because that meant the Team Europe was going to win more games, but it had to be eating at Team USA just a little bit. Man, why can't we get a shot at the two? Why can't we get a shot at the two? Well, I don't know the answer to why they couldn't get a shot at the two, just like I don't know the answer to why Team Europe did get a shot at the two. But they were breaking differently. And I think Team USA should have studied and potentially even copied what Team Europe was doing. Maybe they tried to do all this and we just weren't told about it. Almost everything. You know, maybe they thought of this. Maybe they thought about this whole don't overpower the table thing. Maybe they weren't overpowering the table, trying to overpower the table. Well, that's what it looked like. That's what it looked like. When you have a shot, I don't even know if this is even going to be on camera. This is my first attempt at this. What pocket can you see? I don't know. So, let's see. I mean, I saw, Billy would have a shot like this, and he would shoot it like that. You can get away with that if you hit it accurately. But there's no need to hit it accurately. Hit it that hard. You have to hit it accurately. There's no need to hit it that hard. And if it hits one of the points just a little bit, at that speed it might not go in on a 4-inch pocket of table. It just reminded me of another thing. Most of the Team USA is playing on diamonds. Some of them are playing on gold crowns. This Mosconi Cup was playing on a Rasson table. I've never played on a Rasson table. But I just about have to guarantee that it's going to bank differently. Just like a red label diamond and a blue label diamond and a gold crown, they all bank differently. And the Gandy, anybody remember Gandy? Is Gandy still around? Those tables were tanks. But they all bank differently. Rasson probably banks differently. So I see Team USA, hey, I'm a good banker, I can bank that, and then they miss it. And another guy, hey, I'm a good banker, I can make that, and then they miss it. Well, they make it, and they don't get shaped because the rails don't behave the way they're used to. People kept trying to play their normal game in very abnormal circumstances, on abnormal equipment. Is kind of what I'm talking about there. Not the roar of the crowd and all that, but abnormal equipment. They tried to play their normal game, and it didn't work. Team Europe realized they can't play their normal game. They have to work with the table a little bit, and they did a much better job of that. I don't know if I have much else to say. This is just my little post-mortem for Mosconi Cup 2024. And I guess that's it. Thanks, guys.